Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Celeste Souter here. We are just finishing up on our Power Hour. Our soul sisters are here today, and there's four of us actually, and we've got three in backstage. It has been a really amazing start to the morning. I hope it has been for the other three. I'm going to bring up Jordan first because Jordan's going to have to pop off of here and then we'll hear from Andrea and Sarah. Hopefully, Sarah can get unmuted today. The saga of the unmute. Hold on, real quick. Welcome, Jordan. Hello. How are you? Oh, I can't hear you. What's going on?
Me. Try
There you
that.
are. Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you now. Yep.
The saga of the unmute, right?
That's so funny. So tell me, okay, so Jordan, you haven't missed a day. I think we you might have missed like the first day and
The
then
very
we've
first
like
day.
that we've dove in head first. So yesterday we didn't go live, but I just felt in my spirit that we really needed to s- sit with Holy Spirit. So tell me what happened yesterday, and then how did that spill over into today during our power hours?
Yeah. So yesterday, instead of a usual like productivity prompt, you gave us a neat little outline encouraging essentially different ways to connect with Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And suggested, 10 minutes of this, 10 minutes of that. And I ended up skimming that and going with what resonated, starting there. And then that flowed out into a whole thought piece that got published on Substack this morning. Um, and like complete with references and quotes and sources
Yeah.
and this sort of thing that is not an excerpt from my book. Like most of Substack and what I post on there is a bunch of content that's expanded from the book I'm writing and kind of deleted scenes style or excerpts from things that are actually making it into the book. But this, while related, very related, because it's a cultural commentary, just like my book is, but it's not one of my chapters.
I
So just
know, I
something that I was
saw
passionate
that.
about.
I was really I haven't been able to read it yet and I wanted to, but yeah, I kind of hit the ground running this morning, but I really loved it because I think, every time I read anything that you put out, I'm like, oh my gosh, me too, like same. And so I'm kind of excited to read. It's Jesus is my boyfriend music, right? Is that what you're
Mhm.
referencing? And I'm super excited about that because I think I actually have a chapter in my book that called True Love Waits. And so it's the same era of that True Love Waits. I think, I'm a little older than you, like 9 years, 8 years, something like that.
Mm.
So that True Love Waits really, really took root in the mid 90s, later 90s. And that was like, junior high, high school for me. Was it the same for you, that True Love Waits movement, or is that kind of what you're talking about with Jesus is my boyfriend music?
It's not actually. The
Okay.
the Jesus is my boyfriend music was something my parents were very involved in the music scene,
Uh-huh.
um, while they were dating and then while I
Oh,
was
that's
growing
really
up.
cool.
And
Yeah.
so in some ways, I feel like a zennial, like that
Yeah,
millennial
me
Gen
too.
X.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
me,
you
actually.
I think you actually
I am.
are, right? But
1982.
I
Yep.
don't feel that way, even though I am squarely a millennial, because my parents were so young. And so they
Yeah.
kind of carried me along in the Gen X
I
sort of
love this.
perspective.
Yeah.
And so this article is kind of interesting because I fuss a little bit about the adults.
Mm,
And what's funny is that's because I was engaged in conversation with my parents. And in the article, I talk about how the adults were not engaging in the conversation with the actual people listening to the music. That was not just me, it was my parents.
oh
So
wow.
my
Okay.
parents were
Yeah.
engaged with me, but I remember my dad talking about this Jesus is my boyfriend complaint that was being put out in magazines and being talked about. And the whole thing was, if you take a worship song and could replace babe with any reference to Jesus, that's a problem. And
Mm, yeah.
basically, the whole point of the article
Right.
is, I don't lay it out this way, but my heart behind it was, judge things by their fruit. We're all grown up
Mm.
now. We've
Yeah.
all had love lives. How has this, what kind of generation has Jesus is my boyfriend music produced? And you might be surprised at my conclusion.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So I'm gonna bring Andrea up because I would like to know because she's like coming in blind with this, but yeah. So Andrea, you ready? Here we
Yeah,
go.
sure.
There she
Good
is. Welcome,
morning.
Andrea. Good morning. So when and poor Sarah, she is still trying to get this unmute mute stuff happening. So
I'm glad
when
you can hear me.
yeah, I can hear you. I'm thankful for that. I don't know. Oh, I froze. I don't know if it's Sarah's system or if it's the system we're on, but we'll figure it out. So going back, the what Jordan had. So I will tell you what we did yesterday was essentially master your morning. So I took and we did the 6 steps, and Jordan's was um, like inspired by that. I know you do master your morning quite a bit, yes?
Yes, yes. Oh,
Uh,
every morning as soon as I wake up. I do it a little bit
okay.
differently. I'm not always in my chair, but oftentimes I am just the first thing when I wake up. I do not go to social media, but I will go on like the Bible app. And
Yes.
then I have my journal actually next to my bed for the days that I can't quite make it to the chair, or
Yeah.
I'll take notes in my phone. So, um,
So this morning or even yesterday, okay, so today let me just back up because sorry guys, like yeah, I'm all over the place. So yesterday we had Master Morning just during the Power Hour. Jesus boyfriend or Jesus is my boyfriend music came out of that. Go find Jordan on Substack and read that blog. But and then it got to be repurposed today. So that's what we did in our Power Hour time. Going back to the master your morning, Andrea, and that you do that, was there anything that like Holy Spirit brought to your remembrance this morning that you were able to go back and repurpose? And was that something that happened during your time before even Power Hour during your master your morning time?
well, I've really been thinking about my mission and advocacy with the Courage Bear Project. And actually, as we were sitting here and learning about repurposing our social media, my 90-day goal now is to post every day on my advocacy and mission to help mothers find courage and love after the diagnosis of their child with cancer. And I've really
Oh,
just been led very quietly and patiently with the Lord in this process. But over the last week, I went on a hike. I was up on top of a mountain. I came down, and I haven't told you all this, but I met a woman who had a very similar circumstance as me, um, as far as my story goes in my book, Love Beyond Scope. And
wow.
the fact that, that unprecedented path that I lived, and then it becoming unimaginable circumstances. Um, we were standing in this river, actually at the bottom of the mountain on our way out, and I'm like, God, you have a sense of humor. Like,
I
I
love
just
this. Yeah,
right now
yes.
talking about it, and so I don't want to give away my story. It's in Love Beyond Scope, but I met another mother who has endured similar circumstances, and
Oh,
she was standing in the river, and this woman that was in our group, she called me over, and she's like, I have to introduce you to this woman. Her name was Grace, and we began to talk, and Yes. Like I left that river with a whole new feeling, a new
Mm.
perspective, and um, you know, she was the one that told me that God brought us to this river. I'm always usually the one that says things like that, and
Yeah.
she she was like, God put us in this river together, and I happened to have a couple of copies of my book in my car, and I was driving around three women who I did not know, and we had just met at this um, Love is Magic conference, and it was just it was so it was just so pure and so beautiful, and not forced, and it just happened to me, and I just I it's almost unspeakable. There's so much peace in it. There's so much love in
Mhm.
it, and I'm just looking forward to like connecting with this woman and um,
So
seeing
sweet.
what God has in that for us. So
Yeah. So it sounds like you had an amazing experience, and the way that God's bringing women into your life that have had similar experiences is like, we've talked about it too very recently, but like, I'm gonna bring Sarah up. I know she can't unmute, but like she can at least like whatever say hi. Let's say hi, Sarah. But the three of us, we went to Arkansas together in April. Um, and what I recognized in all three of us at the time was that it was like it was our coming out party, all three of us, right?
yes, yes,
Yes, it really was. And so, um, and for me, I had stayed home and really not left my house, and I built this business and on the other side of a mental health crisis. And both of you then had just really are starting to find your footing after some really hard, times as a mother, walking through all of these things with your children, and the treatments and those that kind of stuff. And so, it's amazing that we're sitting here just a few months later. And I know for me, God keeps calling me out of my comfort zone. I'm still at home. I'm sitting literally looking at a cotton field right now, right? Um, but he's calling me away, but he's also calling me to steward the things that have happened that were done in the, the secret place, the quiet place, and that place before I walked, like, or that coming out party in Arkansas. And I'm wondering if that's the same for y'all, that you're that experiencing not just the coming out and the stepping forth, but then he's wanting to multiply what you stewarded in the secret place in those hard moments. And I mean, obviously, Andrea, you just shared about time in the river with a woman and all that stuff, and I can just imagine the the fruit of those seeds that were harvested in hard times, or I mean planted in hard times, and they're being harvested now. Do you feel that like is what you're experiencing? And Sarah, if that's what you're experiencing, nod your head. If not, you can say no and put it in the comments. But I'm just wondering. We're gonna get Sarah's figured out, but Andrea, do you feel like that's what you're experiencing?
a few months ago, I think I don't know if you were on the call, but I decided and really felt strongly um, that I was called to the ground, so to speak, and
Mhm.
really get out and build relationships, meet women, hear their stories, ask them, what are they doing with their pain? Where are they taking it, and what do they want to do with it? And um, I'm on the other side of this this place that I was,
Mm.
the cancer ward, the hospital, the environment that I lived in during those years was completely different than the environment that I live in today. And um, I decided that I was going to go where God called me. And when I got that text from you and you said, "Do you want to go to Arkansas with me? My husband can't go." That master your morning time, I could go back and see how what I wrote aligned exactly with I'm going to go where I'm called. And um, I just did it. It was 4 or 5 days before the conference, maybe less, 5 days or less, right?
It wasn't long. It wasn't long before. Yeah. And it all just fell into place. Like even the place we were staying, just it just all fell into place. We were staying on campus in this amazing condo, and I was surprised that there was anything available. And then the two of you, and it just happened, you know?
And Sarah, the day, uh, the morning as before we're heading to the airport, taking our photos um, to to have headshots that I put into
Yeah.
go brunch this morning, and uh, it's so beautiful when we just listen, right? When we just
Mhm.
listen and go where we're called, and
Yeah.
you know, I happen to, have a few places in the last month that I was really called to be, and I didn't completely understand it. This last trip that I took to Tennessee, I the day before I left, I was like, I can't do this. I'm not. Why am I doing this? Why am I going here? This doesn't make sense. I hadn't been on the encounter group calls. I, I
I had a similar experience. So yes, I understand those feelings. But yes, keep going.
yes,
So sorry.
and there's a lot that goes into when mama leaves home, like, and
Yes.
and my husband and my children and the responsibilities that I have here, although they feel much lighter than they ever were. But it's still it's a are you going to go, or are you going to let are you going to let anything stop you? Are you going to endure? Are you going to have the courage to walk into spaces that you've never been before and
Yeah.
don't know a single person in the room?
So have you? Have
I
had the
have.
courage? You have. You
I,
have. I love it too because your project's called the Courage Bear Project. And so I asked this because for me, it was like especially last year, it was finding joy and learning resilience. And then this year it is. It's like feet on the ground and having the courage of doing that. Um, did you, were you innately born with courage, or was this something that was forged in the fire for you?
was I innately born with courage? You know,
Or
it's
maybe
funny.
was it something that was actually maybe attacked, and then it's like you've had to find your way back to that person God always meant for you to be?
On my
Anyways, go
on
ahead.
on my podcast, Take Courage 143, one of the episodes that I recorded was with my daughter, my mother, and myself. And I had no idea like what was going to happen during our conversation. And my mom was like, why would I ever need to be on your podcast? I'm like, Mom, we spent this entire journey with you. I spent this entire journey with you by my side. And
Yeah.
between my mom and my mother-in-law and my children, I mean, that was the inner, and my husband, I mean, that was our inner circle for many years. And still is today with, God at the center. But I mean, we did, we did forge some courage, but I do believe um, that there is courage built into our human spirit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I
And
love that.
we have to know that we're designed to be on this earth. And um, my mom pulled out her Bible during our podcast, and my grandmother had left Joshua 1:9
Hmm.
written on a piece of paper inside her Bible as she's
I love that.
opening it. And then it, 3 generations went to 4 generations in 1 second,
Hmm.
1 millis, less than a second.
Yeah,
It
that
was
is so
something
good.
that I'd never prepared for or thought about. And, um, you know, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And as I was driving on 90, I mean, everything I've been through, I was, heading, I'm like, Pennsylvania, Ohio, you know, Kentucky, and then into Tennessee. And then the hike actually was in North Carolina. You know, I had to say to myself, be strong and courageous, Andrea. The Lord
Yeah,
is with you wherever you go. And so it's not something that you have and then you're,
yeah.
you know,
And then you're courageous all the time. No, it's
yeah, then
something
you're
that you
courageous.
practice.
Right.
It is something you practice, and it's definitely, it takes muscle, right? And it takes strength building and that kind of stuff. And I love that you touched on that because it does. It takes that willingness to be courageous. It's not just innately born in us. And I love that because I feel that especially like I know for my calling, it's like it's calling the women to the front line that have that voice, that have that story, just like you, Andrea, just like Sarah, just like Jordan. We all have these really unique stories and these unique passions because of what we've walked through. And it's calling you to the front of the line and like dusting you off a bit and giving you some tools. Of course, that's what I do and during power hours, but it's more than that. It's that calling forth that courage to take courage and and be somebody different, do things a little differently, say the thing instead of being silent. And I know not everyone has struggled with silence like I have, but sometimes it is hard to say the hard thing or do the hard thing or be in the place that God's calling you. Um, most of the time it is, right? It takes that level of courage, but when you walk it out, that faith is built, and then you experience joy like you never thought possible. And then on top of it, it builds that muscle that when he calls you and that courage has to come up, right? That innate courage that or not that well, we are innately actually born with it. It's just it's a God-given fruit of spending time with him. And that reality of who we were always meant to be starts coming forth. And it's like courage comes in moments and little moments then and because you're already living a courageous life and so all you have to do is tap into it when those like doubts or those fears come up and you realize that that's not God and that's not your destiny. And so courage is what takes over. I feel like I just went on a I don't even know.
No, it's
I
all
really, I'm
beautiful.
so, yeah, I'm so inspired by your walk, Andrea. We have gone super over today, and y'all,
I'm gonna
I
go and super
cannot,
over.
I can't tell you how blessed I am by these women. And here's the thing: is that we are forging the path for others. Wouldn't you say, Andrea?
Yes. This weekend I heard take those old shoes off and put on a new pair
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
just keep
That's good.
walking.
And just keep walking. I've been hearing something similar to that too. And I had started my podcast again last week and I kind of like a hard stop. And I was feeling really like bogged down by, not bogged down, but God was really heavy on this. That He's like, you've done enough. Now it's time to harvest what you've done in the past. And so that and that right there to me is like taking the old shoes off and putting new shoes on. It's
Yes.
not that I haven't walked. It's not that I haven't ran that race. But the shoes that were new then are not the shoes that are new now, and there's this difference. And it's like sometimes we think of overwhelm and like we're just like overwhelmed with all these things, right? But it's actually we don't know how to contain the overflow, and it's time for a new wineskin. We're bursting at the seams, like we're trying to shove new wine into an old wineskin. So it's
Yeah.
kind of the same, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I want to just segue into that is that we understand we're forging the way. We understand, and that's what Power Hours, that's what the Soul Sister Project, that's what's to come with the Soul Sister Project is all about is allowing women to step to the front of the line, to say the thing, but have like a soft place to land, a community, women that love you, and to a little strategies, a little structure, and let us help you get there. And take what you've done in the past seasons, or even what you are doing now, and help repurpose it. Because that's what we did today was repurposing our content. And I can't wait to see what Andrea did. So go and check out Andrea's, check out Sarah's, check out Jordan's, and I will be posting on mine. I don't know about today, but a little bit later. I'll be sharing a lot more with y'all. But anyways, thank you, Andrea. Sarah, I'm going to bring it up
Thank
just real quick so
you.
you can say bye. I
Happy
hate that.
Tuesday.
I know, happy Tuesday. I hate that Sarah can't unmute and say hello. We're going to get that figured out. So, okay. Y'all have an amazing day. I'm going to end broadcast and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.